The most philosophical fifth grader in America lives right here in St. Paul. And guess where she goes to school? What's in those mysterious trunks that all St. Paul public schools are receiving? Which St. Paul school is being renamed in honor of Paul and Sheila Wellstone? Stay tuned to St. Paul Public Schools today for all this and more. I'm Judy Schumacher, and I'll be your host. The new school year began on September 2nd, as schools and programs in St. Paul Public Schools opened their doors and welcomed more than 42,000 students citywide. The first day of school is always an exciting one. Many special events took place throughout the district to welcome students and to get them off to a strong start. From a release of monarch butterflies at Highland Park Elementary School to a visit from Governor Tim Pawlenty at Nokomis Elementary School. Students at 35 elementary schools received free school supplies thanks to a partnership with 3M and the Council for Jewish Women in St. Paul. And students at this school arrived to find a new name on their building. This summer, the St. Paul Board of Education approved a name change for Saturn Riverfront Academy to the Paul and Sheila Wellstone Elementary School. It's the first school in the nation to be named after the late senator, and the first school in the St. Paul Public Schools to be named after more than one person. Because several schools were eager to rename themselves in honor of the Wellstones, the process of selecting finalists, conducting site visits, and reaching a decision spanned several months. The selection committee included Minnesota Senator Mee Mua, St. Paul parent Sean Huckleby, and the Wellstone's son, Mark.
Today, I think, would be a very special day for my folks. They had the passion for education, and I know that this is an incredibly special honor for them to have a school named after them. So I guess right now the selection committee would like to recommend the renaming of Saturn Riverfront Elementary School to the Paul and Sheila Wellstone Elementary. So congratulations to Saturn, and thank you very much.
We were told that schools were going to be allowed to apply, and there was a process, and it was 11 questions we had to answer, ranging from tell us about your school, the history, how did it get its current name, to what values does your school have that would represent Paul and Sheila's values. And we, the committee here that worked on the application, spent weeks wordsmithing, trying to come up with just the right answer for us, something that came from the heart. It's one thing just to put the name up on the school as a way to honor him, but to go further than that, I think we really need to strive to teach those same ideals that he lived for, that all children deserve an education, that all people everywhere need opportunities. This is our opportunity to thank them. My first graders obviously don't follow politics very much, but we've talked about it every day. We've had a Wellstone question of the day where the school hears a question and then we try to answer, and then we get a certificate if we have the right answer. And every morning we listen for it, and so they're listening and they know about what Paul and Sheila worked for, and I think they know it's an honor. He just loved children so much that everything he did was based on the future, the children. What can we do to make their lives better? And I think that as an educator myself, that's, I get up in the morning, how do I improve my students' lives? And I think that's what he and Sheila did every day, that, how do we make people's lives better?
I want every child that comes to our schools to feel loved when he or she walks in the door. I want us, superintendent, to hold our students to the highest standards. I want our teachers to be free to teach. I want to have high morale, but I want to make sure that when we say to our students, we want you to meet the highest standards, we also, in St. Paul and in our country, renew our vow of equal opportunity for every child, to make sure that every child has the same opportunity to reach those standards. That's what education is all about. And most important of all, and that's why we're here, the real national security for our country will be where every boy, regardless of race and regardless of income, and more importantly, maybe every girl can grow up dreaming to be President of the United States of America. That's what education's about. That's why we're here, and that's why we're fired up. We're fired up.
Creating the next generation of stewards to keep the Mississippi River clean and healthy is the goal of a new program involving every public school in St. Paul, the Grand Excursion Education Program. The 2004 Grand Excursion is a regional celebration and education initiative that commemorates the 150th anniversary of the river journey of President Millard Fillmore from Rock Island, Illinois to St. Paul. This fall, all St. Paul schools will receive a free river exploration trunk containing age-appropriate classroom materials and hands-on learning tools designed by teachers. The Grand Excursion Education Program will culminate with a special event on May 13, 2004 at River Center, where school groups will showcase their river projects.
The Grand Excursion, Inc. is raising the money, so it's coming through corporate sponsorships and educational foundations and corporate foundations donating. The thing we did not want to do with the trunks was to give teachers more work to do. What we asked them was, if you could go shopping and spend our money to help you do what you already need to do, what would you buy? And this is what they said they needed. So the trunk idea started with the idea of giving schools the resources they needed to investigate their relationship to the river. You have a scientific relationship, so we have water quality monitoring kits. You have a historic and a cultural relationship, so African Americans, Native Americans, the Native American tradition of sugaring, land use over time and its effect on water quality, which of course ties with the water quality monitoring kits. You've got an economic relationship with the river, so we've got a lot of industry materials. Shipping, Corn Growers Association have put materials in, the Soybean Association has put some great materials in. You've also got the idea that biodiversity in an ecosystem is a positive attribute of a system. It makes the system more stable and more able to survive in changing conditions. And cultural diversity works the same way. We are a stronger society because we are culturally diverse. So we have a lot of resources about peacemaking and about cultural diversity and strengthening a system. And this was donated, by the way. This is great. Insurance company in the Quad Cities donated, I think, 520 of these. They produced this. This is it's called Surf the Nest. It's a CD-ROM that looks at the life cycle of the bald eagle. Well, the bald eagle is an iconic animal. It's absolutely necessary to the ecosystem of the river. It's so closely tied to the river because that's its food source, especially in the winter. And they donated like 625 of these outright. This book, which is an absolutely gorgeous book about the photographs of Henry Peter Bossy on the early Mississippi before the Corps of Engineers built the series of locks and dams. He wrote this book and he donated, I think, 400 copies of it. This is a hugely expensive book. We could never have bought this. We have curriculum that combine disciplines, so we're looking at a very interdisciplinary approach to this. This is an art and science curriculum about the river, because you have an artistic relationship to the river. Music, art, science, it's all part of how we interact with that river.
It's going to be great. I have seen what's going to be going in there. I can hardly wait to get my hands on it. And I know that once teachers have some time to take a look at the books, the videos, the CD-ROMs, the tapes, there's music in there, there's everything. And It's really going to help tie together the importance that the Mississippi River has played in the development of St. Paul, as well as the whole region of the United States that is directly connected to the Mississippi River. It's going to be a great connection.
Well, I'm hoping to have a number of opportunities to take my students outside of the classroom and actually bring them to the river. We can do a lot of water quality testing, test things like dissolved oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and that will give students a very good hands-on experience that will prepare them for classes that they might have in college in the future.
Yes, we're testing all different types of levels. We're testing pH levels, we're testing dissolved oxygen, phosphate, and just a whole bunch of other stuff out here. I'm very excited. It gets my adrenaline rushing knowing that people are out here trying to make the river a better place, you know, come out here, have fun, hang out with friends, and just a better way of learning.
Well, the dream is stewardship, that we won't ever again turn our backs on the river the way that people have in the past and use it as a sewer, that we'll see it as a really valuable part of this area and take care of it, because we can get a lot more from it if it's taken care of than if it's let go to waste. It's a river that's a source of all kinds of transportation, was back in primitive times and continues to be today. And without that river, St. Paul wouldn't be what it is, probably wouldn't even be.
Capitol Hill student Anna Johnson was named the most philosophical fifth grader in America by the 2003 Kids Philosophy Slam. The Kids Philosophy Slam is a contest held every year in which students throughout the country answer a philosophical question. This year's question, "What is the meaning of life?" garnered artwork, essays, and poetry from thousands of students, including Anna, who submitted a painting of the Tree of Life and a poem titled Life.
I thought it would be a wonderful experience for them to do some critical thinking about what is the meaning of life, and that this particular question is not just for college students. And the criteria that they gave me sounded very reasonable for fifth graders. They were to paint a picture, draw a picture, and then it could be accompanied by a poem or a short writing piece. Prior to finding out about this Philosophy Slam question, we had finished reading a book called Tuck Everlasting, which is about mortality versus immortality. And it makes you think about your life here on this planet for a limited time. And it was the perfect segue into this contest. And we'd also focused on figurative language, using metaphors and similes, comparisons about life. And this story was the perfect entry. So with that, it started to work on their minds, and it was a fun project.
On behalf of everyone who has had a hand in making tonight's event possible, I would like to welcome you to the 3rd annual National Kids Philosophy Slam in Lanesboro, Minnesota. Thanks for being here. Sitting before me are 4 young, bright philosophers from near and far who are the finalists in the National Kids Philosophy Slam that this year asked one little question: what is the meaning of life?
And 5th grade, Anna Johnson from Minnesota. Anna? That's your word. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
The most philosophical 5th grader in America.
Well, I said the meaning of life is kind of like a mirror because it's the water and it's reflecting the trees. And that was like, because our teacher said comparisons are good. And so, because it's kind of everything you do in life, life reflects everything. And I made it a fish in the water and it was reflecting the trees. This is the poem I wrote, and it's 2 pages. Life. The trees, very tall, towering over the earth, peering through the branches, glowing on the mossy carpet. Green acorns adorn the ground. Time passes. Every shoot, every leaf, every tree changes, moves on in life, for they live. Even with the most tearful, vicious pain, it passes. Life goes on. Love and care for one another, face obstacles and hard times, live. We must for life to pass with joy. The sun slips down to the horizon. The dark ink floods the sky and night breathes. All continues every day. Time turns, changing always. The pond, a mirror reflecting life around. It is given one to reflect. It shall reflect forever, until removed, until forgotten. Now sunset flashes gold in the sunlight. A fish leaps. A flash of color glints as time continues. Life goes on. A moment passes in life. All glints as time continues. Life goes on. That's my poem. I had this feeling in my head, well, I know I'm not going to win. I really was telling myself that. I don't even have a chance, so I might as well forget about it. So I forgot about it. Then my teacher told me.
This fall, 10 schools will be chosen to begin phasing in St. Paul Public Schools' new Arts 25 program. The goal of Arts 25 is to ensure quality arts experiences for students by blending the arts into all subjects. Similar to St. Paul's successful St. Paul Reads program, in which students read 25 books each year, Arts 25 will encourage students to have 25 arts experiences each year. Each participating school has the flexibility to determine for themselves what constitutes an arts experience. The 10 schools participating in Arts 25 during the 2003-2004 school year will be considered Jump Start to the Arts 25 schools. They will be chosen through an application process, and each is expected to receive $5,000 in additional arts funding the first year. By next year, at least 10 more schools will be added, and by 2005-2006, the program aims to be district-wide. St. Paul police officers and firefighters joined the effort to promote literacy last spring when Mayor Randy Kelly deputized them as reading police. Their charge? To go forth into the streets of St. Paul, making sure students and citizens were reading. Not just any book, but the one Superintendent Patricia Harvey and Mayor Kelly had selected for the 2003 citywide book club, The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963. The 2003 book club culminated with a visit to St. Paul by the author, Christopher Paul Curtis. Prior to his public appearance on May 17th, Curtis visited several St. Paul schools, giving pep talks on the importance of reading and writing.
What do you have to do with all three of those things to get better? Practice. You have to practice. And I became an author through practice. And it was really accidental practice. It wasn't like I woke up one morning and said, I want to be an author, I'm going to start practicing. It happened by accident. You follow your dreams, because you never know where your dreams might take you. I never imagined I'd be in St. Paul, Minnesota, talking about a book that I'd written. To me, writing is a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun when I write. I sit down, I have fun, I write, and I think when you do that, what you put into the writing comes across on the page. So that's my writing process.
At Washington Technology Middle School, he was joined by Superintendent Harvey, Mayor Kelly, and Winston Hewitt, Community Relations Manager of Lawson Software, who made a special presentation to support the school district's Give a Kid a Book campaign.
Now, because we believe so much in you as a corporation, we're giving the St. Paul Reads program $10,000, and this, because of the RIF grant, is going to turn into $30,000 worth of books.
We're in a partnership with Reading It's Fundamental. It's a nationwide organization, and they have only one charge, and that is to get as many books as they can in the hands of students. For every dollar that we raise, they will provide $2. So very quickly, we are able to scale up and get more books in the hands of kids.
For more information on how you or your company can support the Give a Kid a Book campaign, please visit the St. Paul Reads website, www.stpaulreads.org, or call 651-767-8112. Well, that's it for this edition of St. Paul Public Schools Today. Thanks for watching, and please join us again soon for more news and information about the world of opportunities students experience in the St. Paul Public Schools.